Hey guys, JJ52 here, and I am not necessarily back, but I don't know if y'all remember. Let's take a little jump back about 4 or 5 some years ago, when I was trying to make a map called Elemental Wars. This was back, I want to say around 1.16-ish, and I didn't really have much command knowledge. Now, fast forward a little bit. Now, Minecraft has a whole bunch of more commands, and so recently I've been looking into what data packs are and trying to do that. So, I bring to you the new and approved prototype of Elemental Wars. So there's gonna be, well, actually, I have a counter here. So there's going to be 9 elements: lightning, nature, ice, water, fire, air, earth, light, and dark. And then there's going to be 3 to 4 classes for each element. Um, there's supposed to be a striker class, a kind of like mage class, and a tank class with a 4th optional. We'll see if I add it. Specialist class, which we'll see if I add it. But so far, I have completed 3 classes for lightning, nature, and air. And so I'm going to show you guys those 3 classes. So yeah. So the first one we're going to do is the Storm Runner. This is the striker class for the lightning team, or the lightning element. In this one, you get a passive known as lightning reflexes, with which whenever you attack an enemy, you gain a little speed boost. So come over here, boop, get a little speed boost, run away type shit. That's really all that does. There's nothing special about the Volt Blade. Each weapon is going to have their own damages that they do, but I haven't necessarily implemented that yet. I don't have anybody to test it on, but the next one we've got is Thunderstep. And so what this does is you teleport a little bit in front of you and you leave behind a static field that does damage over time. So you can kind of use it as a get in close, or kind of like a get out of the way type deal. As you can see, the leave me alone damage that the training, I mean, now you can still get hit before you press it, but for the most part, you can get behind a player if you wanted to. Now, this chain arc, it's non-functioning because this will break my computer. I have yet to figure out how to properly do this. It's supposed to work like Raiden's ability in Smite, which I'll put a little clip of it in the somewhere around here. But basically, you brand an enemy with a Mark of the Storm, and then if a second lightning ability hits the player, or the player that you've tagged, then it's supposed to cause lightning to jump from that player to the next player to another player. Currently, it just breaks my computer and summons lightning left and right. So we're not going to do that one. We're not going to test that one. But we can test this Vibra Shift, which this one gives you a little bit of immunity as you kind of like ripple in between space and time, and it pushes enemies back just a little bit. Not too much, not super crazy. Really more of a get away from me type move. But yeah, that's the Vibra Shift. Are you still angry at me? Yeah. So it kind of lifts them off in the air, gets them away. So you can use it while you're running away or something like that. So the next and final ability is the ultimate Thunderfall. So with this one, you simply eat the carrot, you pick a location, and then you crouch and you begin to call down lightning. Now he hit me, that's why I have no health. But otherwise, you would not be taking any damage. And like I said, this is a prototype. So yeah, that's the Storm Runner class for you. And I may make changes, as I continue to build this map. But for now, that's what we got. So the next class we're gonna do is the Sunblight Sylph. So this is the mage class for the nature element. So first off, we got a little puddle pusher, and then which does literally 4 attack damage, which is 2 hearts, I think. Um, but we've also got a passive, and I know what you're saying. Where's the passive at? So each time you use an ability, for example, this one, you gain a stack of Solar Surge. At 3 stacks, you basically become solar charged, and you can charge your next attack that you cast, except for Pedal Glide. Well, actually, that's not true. All of these get buffs. So this is the photosphere. It basically, you just shoot light at a target, they get damaged. At solar charge, if I don't kill this, they get blinded and receive a slow, but he's not aggro on me, so I can't really show that. But yeah, blinded, receives a slow, and I've got to change some of the flavor text because I've made so many updates to this data pack. Okay, so the next one we're gonna do is Solar Bloom, which I really like. So you know Solar Beam from Pokemon is basically that. You're gonna charge and you're gonna root yourself, and you can cancel a charge either with Pedal Glide or by right clicking again, and you'll do damage based on how much you charge the attack. So let me show you what that looks like. So as you can see, you're charging, and then you do get this kind of cool little animation, but you send out a chargeable beam, and it does damage, and it does continuous damage, and at solar charge it actually gains piercing, where it doesn't just stop at one player, it goes through the player. Alright, so the next ability I have, which I'm gonna have to be very quick with showing, because for some reason I decided to make these creepers instead of zombies, is Pedal Glide. So basically, you'll disappear into a flurry of razor sharp petals, and you'll do damage to any enemies you pass. So as you can see, you disappeared in the petals. You can do it again. And yeah, it's just a good movement ability to kind of get out of the way. You can use it during the Solar Bloom. Does cancel it out though. So yeah. And then we've got Verdant Bloom. So what Verdant Bloom does is, oh, don't blow me, please. So what Verdant Bloom does is, in the area, it heals allies, gives them absorption, and then will root and poison enemies whenever it is solar charged. So yeah, I'm just gonna show that off. As you can see, I'm getting healing. I've got the absorption. So yeah, that's really all it does. And then if it were solar charged, it would be doing damage. It does have a fairly long cooldown on it though. And I'm kind of working on particle effects. You'll see later on down the line when we get over to the air that my particle effects are getting a little bit better. But I'm still working on them. Haven't completely figured that part out. So the next class we're gonna do is the air class, the air tank, the pressure warden. So first off, let's talk about this pressure that's currently being added into my inventory. So with each stack of pressure, it augments your abilities in some way, shape, or form, except for the Aegis of Air. Usually this will expand the radius and damage of your abilities. So there's that. But it also does something else. So if you crouch, as you can see, I have this barometric maul. If you crouch and then jump, depending on how many pressure stacks you have, you gain jump boost. So if you crouch, jump, get yourself, I somehow missed that, there we go. And then, you know, So if you can't tell, that's kind of how it's kind of how you're supposed to play when it comes to wanting to do damage, because the rest of these don't really do damage. So this is the Aegis of Air. And I've actually got to fix it. It's gonna respawn on my in my offhand, but as you can see, we've got projectiles here, and it only blocks projectiles. It works as a regular shield, obviously, but it kills any projectiles that come near it. Uh, Big old shield, and as you can see, we lose durability the more projectiles we kill. Um, Up until now, you see, and that's the cooldown. It's supposed to be replacing in here, but like I said, this is a prototype, so there are little bugs that I have to fix. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is the concussive blast. So all this does is it flings out enemies around you in a radius. That's it. That's all it does. And depending on the amount of pressure you have built up will determine the radius of which you kind of blast out and how far they go. The next ability is pressure lock. And so basically you'll send out a kind of, well, you'll see, a little area, and it drags in enemies nearby, and it kind of locks them in place for a little bit. Ouch. I'm sorry. So that's all it does. It's really just more of a drag people in type move, keep them kind of stuck for a little bit. The radius increases based on the amount of pressure you have. Lastly, we have atmospheric collapse. So you can throw this, obviously. So when you throw this, you basically create a space of no air. So let me just yoink. And as you can see, it drags in enemies and kind of keeps them in there. It does damage, and then it explodes. Haven't figured out yet how to keep myself from being exploded as well, other than, you know, decreasing the explosion radius. But once again, it does have a kind of a long cooldown, because it's broken. That's why it has a long cooldown. But I do really like it. I find it very fun. I missed. Let me try again. Hold on. Let me. Like, this is honestly like super fun. It'll even grab that, but that's all I have for. Ooh, I felt that all the way over here. That's all I have for the map so far, and I would really love if anybody has any ideas. Currently, right now, I'm working on the Earth Tank Terror Guard. I don't have. I literally just started it. So if you guys have any ideas or anything that you would like to see me try to do, that would be amazing. But yeah, I've still got to do fire, ice, water, dark, light, and earth, and I still have to complete the entire suite of all those. But I'm really motivated on this one because it feels like I can actually do the stuff, and I'm a little bit smarter now, so I know how things work just a little bit better. So that's all I've got for this video. If you guys like it, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it, and tell me what you want different, what you think I should do different. And I'll see you guys in the next video.